Okay, this is the video about patterns 5, 6, 7, and 8. So here we go, pattern number 5. Pattern number 5 is the speaking pattern. So you're going to use that a lot whenever you're quoting somebody, when you're doing fiction writing. Anytime you're quoting somebody, you're going to use a pattern 5. So there's a few different ways to do this, but I'll show you kind of what the basic one looks like. So you have a thought, then you have a comma. Well, there's several different ways. And then you could do, okay, said blank. It's probably easier for me to show you. So there's several different ways. You could do one, you could do hello, he said. That's what I mean. So hello, he said. Whatever the person is saying is going to be in the quotation marks. You always have a comma here. And it's inside of the quotation marks, okay? It's not outside, it's inside the quotation marks. Now, the only time that that wouldn't be a comma is if you're doing a question mark or an exclamation point. But you're never going to have a period here. You're going to have a comma there, okay? So, let's do a different variation. He said, hello. Okay, now this time there's a period at the end of hello because that's the end of the sentence. So he said, comma, quotation marks, hello. So that looks quite a bit different than this one, really. The comma goes after said, and the quotation's hello. Okay, remember, anything in here, it's just like you're starting a brand new sentence. That needs to be capitalized, okay? So let me show you the third example of this, which is the most tricky, kind of. Okay, it's going to start out like the first example. Hello. He said, what are we having for dinner tonight? Question mark, quotation. Now, this is one talking point, but it's broken into half. So, hello. What are we having for dinner? That's what he's saying, but it just kind of broke it up with the he said in the middle. So here you're going to have a capital letter here if it's starting a new sentence. So hello, that's one sentence in this case. What are we having for dinner? That's another sentence, so that's starting with a capital here. Now let me show you a different way. I am so tired, Mark said. I just need to go take a nap. Okay, that's another way of doing it. There will be a capital here because you always capitalize I. But, so tired. Of school. What if you put that? I am so tired of school. I am so tired, Mark said, of school. This is the person saying, I am so tired of school, all put together. Now here you're not going to capitalize of because it's not starting a new sentence. It's just a continuation of this original sentence. So look at it this way. If I put this all together, I am so tired of school. You wouldn't have it like that. Of course not. This would not be capitalized. So that's how you can kind of do a little test to see if what afterward needs to be capitalized. I hope nobody's tired of school. It's the only thing I could think of. Okay, so that is a pattern 5. Let's move on to a pattern 6. Pattern 6 is where you have two thoughts, so our code, one thought, then you're going to have a semicolon and another thought, period. Now, you could also, instead of the semicolon, you could put a regular colon or dash dash like that. And like I always say, that's like a really weird smiley face with a big nose and a unibrow. Do you see like the little emoticon? I see it. Anyway, okay, moving on. So you have two separate thoughts with a semicolon in the middle. Now these two thoughts, they have to go together somewhat. They can't just be like, I want chicken for dinner. I hate sports. Those don't go together. So it could be something like this. I ran really fast. I won the race. Okay, now these are two independent clauses. I ran really fast. That could be its own sentence. I won the race. That could be its own sentence, but I'm going to put them together and put a semicolon in the middle. This is a pattern that makes you look really smart because a lot of people have no idea, even adults, have no idea how to use a semicolon. I went to college, and a lot of the people I went to college with, I proofread their writing. They had no clue how to use a semicolon. So this is going to really help you differentiate yourself from your peers and from other students, even adults, if you know how to properly use a semicolon. So that's kind of cool. So let's do another one. I love cats, especially my cat, Sophie. I love to use my cat in sentence pattern examples, as you know. So, I love cats. That could be its own sentence. Ugh. I especially love. See, I messed that up. I had to catch myself because I was going to say, especially my cat, Sophie. That's not an independent clause. So, I can't have it. But I can put, I especially love my cat, Sophie. That's its own sentence. So, I love cats. I especially love my cat, Sophie. Make sense? Okay. Don't forget to ask questions in class. Don't forget, this is not intended to take the place of my own teaching. This is just kind of if you forget something or if you missed a day or you need extra help, this is kind of what this is designed for. So, pattern 7. Pattern 7 is the one that looks the most complicated. So we have this, we have a colon, and then it's a, let me show you. It would be semicolon, comma, semicolon, comma, semicolon, comma, period. And all this is still underlined, it's one thought. So let me show you an example of this because it's really not as complicated as that looks. When this is used is when you have two bits of information you want to keep together. So let's say I'm doing it like this. The students' test scores were. Then I'm going to put a colon to show I'm getting ready to start listing them. Marcy, comma, 70%. Now I'm going to do a semicolon because that's showing I'm talking about a new student now. Dave, comma, 83%. Semicolon. And Marcus, 91%, period. Okay, so the students' test scores were Marcy, 70%, Dave, 83%, and Marcus, missed a comma there, 91%. So the semicolons are going to tell us that we're going on to a new person. The commas show, like, Dave, 83%, that shows these two bits of information, they go together. Marcus and 91%, these two go together. Marcy and 70%, these two bits of information go together. Okay? You can use this for all sorts of stuff. You could use it for, the towns people live in. Marcy, Abingdon, Dave, Galesburg, and Marcus, Canton. You could do it for batting averages. Is that what it is? Batting averages? Batting scores? RT. What do they call that? B. You know what I'm talking about. The batting, how many bats you get right or whatever. You could use it for that. You could use it for all sorts of different bits of information. You could use it for teams and their final Super Bowl scores or whatever. There's several different ways you can use this. It's not going to be used every single day, I'll tell you that much. But it's one of those that when you get to writing a paper, you might think, oh, I need to do this, and you're going to have no idea how to do it. But now you will know exactly how to do it. This is how you do a long list. So compare it to number 4. Pattern number 4 is your short list. Pattern number 7 is your long list. So you will need to know this because there's going to come a time when you'll need it, and now you'll know how to do it. So we'll go ahead and we are moving on to pattern 8, which is my personal favorite sentence pattern. Pattern 8 is awesome. It makes you look super duper duper smart when you use it. So let me show you what pattern 8 is. Pattern 8 looks like this. Okay, one thought, semicolon. However, or therefore, comma, another thought. Okay, so let's do an example. I want to make this smaller so it's up here, but you know what I mean. Okay, so let me show you. I love school, semicolon. However, comma, I don't like having homework, period. So, I love school. That could be its own sentence, right? This is an independent clause. So I'm going to underline that to show you that's one of these. Okay? I love school. Then I'm going to have a semicolon. However, comma, I don't like having homework. Now, compare this to somebody who puts this. I don't like having homework. I love school. I don't like having homework. The person who writes this, that's going to be what I would consider an average writer, a B, C range writer. You know, not bad, but not somebody who's just like, wow, that person can write, that person knows what they're talking about. Just an average, a couple sentences. Oh, sorry. Go away. Okay. Just an average couple sentences. So, this tells me I have met a very good writer. I love school, however, I don't like homework. So let's try another one. I have baseball practice tonight. Semicolon. Therefore, comma, I won't be home for dinner. Period. So, I won't be home for dinner. That could stand on its own. That's an independent clause. I have baseball practice tonight. That could stand on its own. It's another independent clause. Put them together with a semicolon, therefore, or however, and a comma, and you have yourself a pattern 8. Okay? So, this one is my personal favorite, as I mentioned. So, I hope that I will see you use it in your essays because it's really going to spice up your writing, and it's really going to impress people when they read your writing. So they'll take you so much more seriously if you're using grammar and sentence structures that are as complex as a pattern 8 is. So I will go ahead and stop it there. If you have questions, please feel free to ask in class. We might not be going over these patterns again in as much detail as we did the first time, but I am always more than happy to answer your questions and help you out. So, thank you for watching.